Hello everyone, welcome to our Chinese Medicine Study channel today. Today we're going to start a new topic of heat clearing formula. So previously we have discussed the superficial pathogen relieving formula, which is 麻黄汤、银翘散. And later on we talk about the mediating formula. And today we're going to start the new topic of heat clearing formula. So in this video, we're going to discuss what heat clearing formula. Heat clearing formula, from the name we can see it is the formula to clear heat, but in our formula books it described as clear heat. It either described as clear heat in blood, or it also may describe as tonify into clear heat. So it's actually a combination of different functions, because some heat is due to excess heat and some due to deficiency. In this category, we mainly discuss about the excess heat, the internal excess heat. So in the formula of heat clearing formula, the ingredients of this formula, most of them are cold and bitter. The property of the herbs are cold and bitter. And this formula is different from the one we talked previously, like 银翘散、麻杏石甘汤. Those formula we also talked that the patient is suffer from the wind heat, so the patient may have like fever or like yellow coating or red tongue. These are also heat symptoms. But here, in this kind of patient who use heat clearing formula, is the internal heat. So there's a difference between external heat, arterial or superficial. The pathogen stay on our skin, on our superficial area, or the pathogen goes deep in your body. That's the difference between superficial releasing formula and heat clearing formula. If the pathogen is still in superficial area, we will not use the heat clearing formula. And if the pathogen is already goes into your organs, if you use the superficial relieving formula, the result might not as good as what you thought. There's one case from Professor Hu Xishu. There's one girl before caught flu and then got fever and have short of breath. So when they thought the other practitioner used 石膏, a big dose of 石膏黄芩, and all these group of ingredients, all these group of herbs, which have very strong function of cold to clear the heat. But after taking the formula, the symptoms become even worse, which is the short of breath become worse and worse, become similar to asthma. And then when Professor Hu Xishu saw the girl, he used the other two ingredients, which is 荆芥 and 苏叶. He used only these two the fresh 荆芥, fresh 苏叶, to cook them. And after taking this formula, the girl coughed a lot of phlegm out, and the symptoms have been relieved. So when we see a patient with heat symptoms, we need to think whether heat is superficial or internal. Then you can decide to use superficial heat clearing or the heat clearing here. So these are very different formula. And when we talk about the heat clearing, sometimes the patient not only have the heat symptoms, it might combine with dampness or dampness or phlegm, or sometimes the patient may have weakness. So those conditions we're going to discuss in other categories, like dampness clearing formula or insufficiency formula. Those we're going to use different methods to tonify. So when the patient with a heat symptom, it's fine, doesn't matter. If the patient with heat symptoms, we need to think what's the cause of the heat symptoms. And sometimes it's because of internal heat, sometimes because of insufficiency. So we're going to treat according to the cause. And in Wang disease, in Qing dynasty, there's one practitioner who's famous for the Wang disease, Ye Tianshi. He described as the Wang disease, the principles to treat Wang disease, which is also mostly related to heat. It described that the 4 levels, Wei levels, Qi levels, Yin levels, and blood levels. Wei, Qi, Yin, blood, or Xue levels. So if the pathogen and these 4 levels goes deeper and deeper, and if the pathogen is in Wei level, which is superficial, you can use sweating method, and when the pathogen goes deeper to Qi levels, you can use heat clearing Qi levels, heat clearing Qi formula. So it describes at Wei level, you can use sweating. Only when the pathogen goes into Qi level, you can use clearing Qi level formula. So if the pathogen, so am I clear for this? If the pathogen is still in superficial area, we don't use clearing Qi formula. Only when the pathogen goes to Qi level, then we use the clearing Qi level formula. When the pathogen goes deep in Yin level or blood level, we still can use Qi level formula to guide the heat back to superficial. So you see, the pathogen goes deeper and deeper. At the beginning, for Wei levels, we use sweating method. In the second level, Qi level, we use Qi clearing formula. When it goes deep down to Yin and blood, we use clearing Yin and blood ingredients, the herbs. In the meantime, we still use Qi level ingredients to guide the heat back to more superficial. That's how we treat Wang disease, how we treat internal heat to relieve to guide the heat to superficial and get out of the body. That's how we do. That's how we treat this kind of disease. And during our treatments, when we use this kind of formula, heat clearing formula, most of the ingredients are cold. And so when we use, there's some aspects we need to be careful. The first one, we need to be sure that the patient has the actual heat. So it's the excess heat symptoms is a must. You can't make it wrong, like if the patient have the heat is due to the insufficiency. So for some insufficiency, the patient also can have the heat symptoms, but that heat is going to be healed in tonifying the yin. So that's deficiency heat. So you need to be careful that the patient is excess heat first. The second is when you use this kind of formula, it's cold. You should be careful. We can't use too much. If we use for long term or overdose, it's going to damage the spleen yang energy. if the spleen yang was damaged, it means it will cause a deficiency. And also these herbs are bitter and cold in property, and bitter and cold can make the body dry. So if you use overdose, it will cause the dryness of the body. So we need to be careful about the dose of the formula. The third part is when patient was healed for heat disease, we need to be careful to prevent, to avoid. You see, when the patient have the disease or the flu or whatever, they were sick for a period, and all of a sudden or after a few days treatment, the patient recovered. After they recovered, their appetite become better, so they want to eat, they feel hungry, the digestive function is back, they want to eat. At this stage, you need to be careful. You need to remind the patient that you should not eat too much at one time, because sometimes if they have very good appetite, they eat a lot, it will cause food stagnation. Because at this stage, the digestive system is still weak. If they eat too much, it causes food stagnation. Food stagnation will cause the heat again. That's how to prevent the same disease to happen again. So need to be careful about the diet. So in the diet, the food need to be increased, can be increased gradually, but not at once. And in some condition, if the patient have severe heat or severe excess heat, when we use the cold formula, the cold herbs formula, like here, the heat clearing formula, the patient may feel vomiting or nausea. At this time, we can add some ginger, ganjiang, senjiang to warm the stomach a little bit. So we're going to discuss the heat clearing formula in the next few videos. Thank you for watching our video today. For more information, you can visit our website. See you next time.